Eagle looking great. Your go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back for another episode of the Sci-Fi Wise Guys Turtle Month. My name is Chris.
And my name is Anthony.
Here on the Sci-Fi Wise Guys, we watch and review science fiction and science fiction adjacent movies, television, animated series, computer-generated animated series, anything really to do with the Ninja Turtles.
Except for
the
that
month
one
of
thing.
August 2023 for the 39th and a half year anniversary.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
I'm excited for today, Anthony.
How are you?
For two reasons. One, I get to podcast with my bud.
Oh, is Kel coming?
No.
Sorry.
Who continuously seems to enjoy antagonizing me, but that's not the point. The second reason I'm excited is because, as far as I'm aware, today was the first day, I feel like a long time, when I went outside.
Oh, yes, me
and
too.
I wasn't like, wait a minute, the sun isn't burning my skin off. And then I looked down at my phone and it was at noon, 86 degrees.
Yeah, so nice. I stood out. It was 89. I was outside after taking the trash. And I was like, I'm just going to soak this in a little bit. This feels great. Yeah.
And then I watched the last episode of the first episode of the last series of our show today.
Yeah.
And I only watched one episode because it wasn't a cliffhanger. I may have broken my own rule here.
Okay.
I watched the first two episodes of each of the series.
Oh, I did not. I stuck it to the first episode because I didn't want to break that rule that I always break and make it awkward for you.
Well, the thing is, for me, is you've already seen all of them.
I mean, yeah, it's been years, but yeah, I mean, we're kind of giving away the goat. Like we talked about, we were going to watch Turtles Forever for our next episode, but maybe we would also do the first episode of each cartoon and review them all. Well, we decided to do that first.
Yeah.
So we were switching it up. If you didn't do that, if you're like watching along with us for Turtle Month, Turtle August, Augustus the Turtle, whatever.
Turtle Power
Month. Sorry, we pulled a fast one. We watched the first episodes of the 87, 2003, 2012, and then whatever year Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out.
2017?
2018, yeah. We watched the first episodes of each, and we're going to talk about it. I have some notes. I have some notes for each one. Nothing super detailed, just kind of getting a vibe. We're just vibe checking each episode, which is a bit that you used to do, pretty sure, on the show. That's one of our dead bits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stillborn bits. Ooh, I probably shouldn't use that phrase for a while.
No, I think what are you trying to do to us, man? What are you trying to do to us?
I mean, not for us, for me.
No.
The wife never listens to us, but in the case she does.
The one episode she does. Yeah. That's great, man. I had a lot of fun doing this. This was great. I want to get right into it.
All right.
I want to get right into it. I didn't, and you can tell this, obviously the people can't see it. I didn't pull up any facts for this episode. I didn't know what facts you would want because
I have
it's
facts.
4 different episodes or 4 different series. Like I didn't pull up like IMDb stats or anything. Did you want IMDb stats up for this
I have
stuff?
IMDb stats, and I thought about the problem B that one of these shows is rolling up on 40 years old.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
So it's hard for that. Like, it's hard to have a subjective look or objective look at that series, the ratings at least, because it's so tainted by so many different years of people watching it, right? Like we talked about it with Mutant Mayhem that this is someone's first foray, possibly, into the Ninja Turtles. So what they're going to do is they're going to go back and they're going to watch all of it because that's what I'm going to alienate people. That's what you do when you're a true fan, which I am not a true fan of some things, is you get completely engrossed in everything. So someone's going to watch Mutant Mayhem and they're going to watch the 1987 Turtles and they're going to be like, this show, they could say this show is terrible because this show is fun and they're going to give it a 1 or a 10-star review. I don't know. But I think that's a microcosm of the rating system in general. With any rating system is you're going to you're either gonna love something, you're gonna hate it, right?
Sure.
I don't know anyone that's like. The other day I was watching a YouTube video and someone was like, I found the only person on Twitter who won't argue with me. They would just immediately like, you know what, you've changed my mind. Good point. And I feel like there's very few people that are gonna be like, that was an 8. That was a 4.
Things like that.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm talking about the vast majority of people.
Sure.
It's
most people
love or hate.
polarize themselves. Yeah,
Yeah.
they like to have. People like to take sides. Absolutely.
But yeah,
Well, let's run through this. Let's run through the stats then. Let's run through the stats in chronological order here. Let me pull up the screen here. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ran from 1987 to 1996. It is sitting at a 7.9 out of 10 stars on IMDb with 36,000 ratings. The blurb reads, mutant heroes live in New York sewers and train in martial arts to protect the city from crime.
there's that heroes again.
Yes, there it is. There it is. So this ran for a long time, 9 years.
This is, I think like 100 some odd episodes.
It has 193 episodes.
Jesus.
Killing it. Yeah. All right, let's moving on to 2003. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ran from 2003 to 2010, so 7 years, sitting at a 7.8 out of 10 with 12,000 ratings on IMDb. And the blurb reads, the continuing adventures of a quartet of turtle superheroes. Ooh, I like the word quartet. To compare, it has 156 episodes, so only less than 40 episodes short. 2 seasons. That makes sense. Makes absolute sense. Moving forward a bit, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ran from 2012 to 2017. The time frames are getting shorter and shorter. Sitting at a 7.9 out of 10 with 13,000 ratings, which I believe is just 1,000 ratings more than the previous iteration. The blurb reads, 4 Ninja Turtles, mutated by a mysterious alien substance, must rise up out of the sewers and defend their city against evil forces from both the past and present. And it ran for 124 episodes, so a little bit less, but still a good run. I think anything over 100 episodes, definitely a good run.
I mean, successful in almost any sense of the word.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's move on here. Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ran from 2018 to 2020. Also had a capstone movie, and of course 2022. We've already talked about that. Has an IMDb rating of 5.7 out of 10 with 5,800 ratings. And the blurb reads, 4 mutant turtle brothers go on adventures where they end up tapping into mystic ninja powers. Let's see. It had 75 episodes. Still not bad. I know that this show did okay. So I know they did like the 11-minute episodes, but 2 of them back to back style. Not for this first episode, for others, but they don't count as separate. So that's 75 30-minute segments. Not bad at all. Okay, so just the quick comparison, they get shorter and shorter and shorter as they go. I don't think that's necessarily. I don't think that's necessarily indicative of the quality, mostly because if you watch that original 1987 run, the quality dips pretty quickly, and it didn't set a very high bar for itself to begin with. They're all definitely products of their time. But even the IMDb ratings, if we just strictly go based on ratings instead of episode length, 7.9, 7.8, 7.9, and then 5.7. Yeah. It's pretty telling. How do you want to start? How do you want to do this? Do you just want to go back and forth on each one, and then maybe do some comparisons at the end? Like, do you want to do a category by category and talk about each one in each category? This is your idea. How are we doing it?
So, first thing I want to mention is that Donatello is voiced by the same character or same real life person in 2 of these series, which I thought was really neat.
Is he? Which
Rob
2?
Paulson in the 1987 and then the 2012 series. Like Donatello started talking, and I was like, I know that voice.
So you're almost right. You're almost right, sir.
Raphael?
Rob Paulson voiced Raphael in 87, and then he voiced Donatello in. I thought he voiced Donatello. Who did he voice? There are a couple of voices that are overlapping.
Okay. No, Rob Paulson's Raphael in 1987.
And then 2012.
Donatello. He's Donatello.
In 2012, right. Oh, Sean Astin played Raphael. Interesting.
Yeah. That's my mistake. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
I recognized the voice and I was like, hey. What I'd like to do first just kind of lay it out.
Okay.
After watching 7 episodes of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 4 different series, I think the 2003 show is probably the best one out of all of them. Just my initial thoughts and opinions.
Okay.
The animation is probably the best out of all of them. I think the turtles themselves are really cool. I think as I've gotten older, maybe not necessarily as I've gotten older, but as I've become more mature, I think that maybe the 87 show is like, I think it's got some problems. Like just animation. Like in the first episode, there's a voice gaffe. Like Raphael looks directly at the camera. I'm sorry, Donatello. No, Michelangelo looks directly at the camera and starts talking in Raphael's voice. I'm like, oh, okay,
you're
cool.
Pulling an April O'Neil right there, mixing up all their names.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they all look the same. How am I supposed to tell the difference?
Color coded, and you're not colorblind. I know this for a fact.
It's an April O'Neil joke. I think the 2012 was really interesting. I'd never really seen that before.
Sure.
And then Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I enjoyed it, I think, a little bit more than I expected, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think that, again, they're mutant turtles who just happen to practice ninjutsu, but it was the least grounded in reality. I mean, they go to a secret mystical city hidden beneath New York.
Yeah, why not, dude?
Sure. And there's what appeared to be aliens. I don't know. I think that all in all 4 are good.
Okay.
I can't tell you to skip 1987 because it's like foundational. Like all the I don't want to say that all the things that you see and all the other ones are kind of based on it, but like it influenced them so much that they're nothing like the original comics in terms of tone.
For the most part,
like there isn't, they're not slicing dudes in halves. They're beating up robots or spoiler in 3, 2, 1, Krang brains. In robot bodies. Like they rarely kill or destroy anything that's not or that is a human, right? Because it's a kid's show.
Sure.
It's like, hey, yeah, you can show the violence, but they got to be aliens or robots or something. You can't kill another human. Cool. Well, what if the robot looks like a human? Well, as long as he has blue blood or sparks fly out of his body,
sure,
passes the censor board. I thought they were all fun, but yeah, I think like watching that 2003, I was like, man, this is pretty neat.
Yeah.
Interesting. I forgot that Splinter was Hamato Yoshi from 1987.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like,
in the 87 and the 2012 one both.
Yeah,
he was
I think so.
Human. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I mean, he might also be human in the 2003 cartoon as well. I don't remember exactly. At least so far in the first 2 episodes that I watched.
So it's interesting that you it's interesting that you thought the 2003 version was your favorite or the best. Whichever. Mirage Studios, led by Peter Laird, one of the creators, and at the time, like the owner of the copyrights and whatnot for Ninja Turtles, read through all the draft scripts and approved almost all the character designs personally for the 2003 show. What struck me out watching them all back to back, and I had seen some of these before, obviously, is that the 2003 show is as different from the 1987 show as it can possibly be and still be a children's cartoon.
Yeah.
It is removing itself as much as possible. The 2012 cartoon kind of corrects back a little bit, where it's got an homage to the original theme song and its theme song. It's the first one, and I don't even know about Rise, but it's the first one up to that point where the turtles feel young, like they feel like kids, right? April's real young. She's a teenager. I enjoyed it's also though the most predictable, I think, out of them as far as like the whole beginning of it goes and the origin, because it's all, by this point we've seen all these story beats before, right? So it's not so much how original it is and how it tells it, but also just all the little moments along the way. it's not the funniest scene that I watched in these 4 episodes, but maybe my favorite, where they all try pizza for the first time. And it literally goes inside of Michelangelo's head and his brain explodes.
Yeah.
It changes their life forever.
Oh, it's terrible. You wouldn't like it.
You would like it. Let me have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Like this, it's really, really funny. They're definitely goofier, but more because they're kids, and less because like in the 1987 one, they're just not taking anything seriously. They're wisecracking. They're super goofy. It's super cheesy. Ref has just got jokes, and the earliest at their earliest chance, they're like, yeah, we're gonna eat pizza. We're not doing this. Like this isn't important at all. Which feels weird looking back at it. Like they're not taking anything seriously. And you're right. Like the gaff, the animation there was a couple of scenes of animation where it was really good, but I'm like, oh yeah, that's because they're using it in the theme song, right? Like Michelangelo flying through the sky with his nunchucks looks really cool. It's probably the best action scene in that episode, but it's only because they're going to be reusing it a bunch, right? Everything else is very sloppy. Like even the internal logic of it doesn't make any sense. Like how are they filling a building with water? Why does the shredder have cameras everywhere? Like talk about a nanny state. Like he has cameras in the sewer.
Well, it's very much like Inspector Gadget, right?
Yeah.
Whatever the guy's name is.
Does not matter.
Gadget. Like why does he has cameras everywhere too? Like why does he
how
know?
is he seeing everything?
Yeah,
exactly. It's just kind of it's 80s goofy children's show, and it's for kids. Like, well, I remember loving it as a kid because there was nothing else like it. But like if I had been, I don't know, if I had been 15 in 1987, I don't know if I would care. Yeah.
Well, it's like they changed the advertising laws in the 80s to where you couldn't market directly to kids anymore.
Right.
So what they were doing was like, cool, well, we got to sell toys.
So
I got an idea.
Yep. And
I mean, that's where like all the knockoff shows come from. Like, I don't want to call G.I. Joe a knockoff show, but G.I. Joe is just a vehicle.
Oh yeah.
No pun intended.
Joe,
to sell vehicles. Yeah.
Yeah. Turtles. They would, I think I've mentioned it before, they would design a character, design a toy, make the toy, and be like, hey, this is coming out in 6 months. You need to put it in your cartoon.
Well, like He-Man. Like,
oh yeah.
If you ever read the original drafts for what He-Man was, it was this, like, it made Conan, I don't want to say look tame, but it was like real dark. There was a lot of like murder. It was just, this post-apocalyptic world that had just kind of devolved into medieval fantasy. And then they were like, we can't sell toys doing this. What are you talking about? No, he's a prince.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he turns into He-Man. And everyone's like, okay, cool.
Cool.
Fair enough. Sure.
That's cool. I mean, it's interesting. I say it's interesting. It makes it kind of difficult to review children's cartoons when all they are giant marketing campaigns. On the other hand, I really enjoy these marketing campaigns, man. They're pretty good.
Well, if you think about it, really, everything's a marketing campaign.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of art is for art's sake or whatever. But I mean, when I say that, I mean, you watch a television show. Yeah, they're going to sell a little bit of merch, but it's really to get you to watch the television show, right? It's to get you to buy a subscription to that premium cable channel or that streaming service, or to see ads, on traditional cable. And then maybe you buy the DVDs later, but that's all secondary, right? It's not this where it's like, hey, we're releasing a Bebop and Rocksteady look really cool in this plastic packaging, so here they are. Did you notice? And I didn't watch the second episode, so maybe I'm jumping ahead, but the two of the gangster kind of goons in the first episode of the 87 show look like Bebop and Rocksteady, and I assume they're going to become Bebop and Rocksteady. Does that happen in episode 2? Did I just spoil myself?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I knew they became. I haven't seen it in 20 years.
Sure.
So. Yeah. Maybe more. But I was like, oh, it's these two guys. Cool. The 2003 series has my favorite voice acting out of all of them. Especially like Raph. I don't know, just all of them. Like, I don't know if that's because they sound more distinct. They don't sound kiddie, but it's hard. It was weird for me to say that because they're not they're kids, right? They're teenagers though, so it should be a super mix. But yeah, my favorite voice acting, and I do have like a soft spot, some nostalgia for that late 90s, early 2000s animation style, It reminds me like of Justice League and
for sure
all that.
Yeah, I think it's like the pinnacle of, like, people saw Batman the Animated Series and were like, oh, not all cartoons or animation have to be childish, like not only in the tone but like in the production. Like I remember this is going to date me, but when you could still get DVDs from, or when you could only get DVDs from Netflix, I got the Batman animated series on DVD. And the benefit of doing that is, like, there was all the hidden, or not hidden, but like behind the scenes information, all the interviews. Yeah. And they do like the commentary. And in the commentary, Bruce Timm, says that they made the Batman the Animated Series on black paper, like not white paper, actual black paper. And like they were like, yeah, it was cool because it allowed us to do a lot of different things with color or lack thereof color, like in shadows and stuff. But the problem was we wouldn't know if there was dirt or some kind of dust or film on the actual paper. So in the first episode of Batman the Animated Series, in like the first 30 seconds, you can see dirt in the sky.
Interesting.
Because they couldn't tell when they were just looking at it, because it was so dark. They colored it blue. Yeah. And then somehow something got on it. So when they filmed it, they were like, that's the sky. And then like years or months later or whatever, they were like, oh, well, we can't change that. It went out like that. It's
that's interesting.
Yeah, so,
I think you might have shared that before about the black paper.
Maybe
that's really like, well, with me, maybe not with the pod. Yeah. That's really, really interesting.
But 2003 is a very dark show.
It is. Yeah. So the 1987 show is on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. The other three are on Paramount Plus. Those are the official ways to watch them, at least in the US. But the 2003 show is stretched. So it came out in 2003, right? As we keep saying. So it was a 4:3 full screen aspect ratio. And then they stretched it to widescreen for Paramount Plus. And I knew it right away, because the very first thing you see is the moon. And then the camera pans down, and I'm like, oh, look, that's an oval. And the turtles they look awkward. I ended up finding 720p 4:3 versions on YouTube. That's what I watched, and it looks so much better. If Paramount Plus would give me the option at the very least to watch it in its original aspect ratio, I'd be down. I get that maybe they don't think kids will watch something with black bars on the side of the screen. Whatever. Kids will watch anything. Yeah. They're dumb. And obviously the 2012 and Rise don't have that issue. They were created in widescreen. You just now, I see you looking around. I see you just now noticed that your cat walked in about 15 minutes ago.
Well, no, I saw her walking around, but now she jumps in a box.
Oh, so gotcha. I think there's plus and minuses to each one, and I think we're naturally, like, for me I'm going to agree with you. 2003 was my favorite. Like, it was the one that I most, like, I wanted to watch another episode, but I knew I had to watch the other ones too. But I fully acknowledge that a lot of that's the nostalgia, right? Like that style of animation, that style of storytelling. Also the fact that it's the most different from all of them, probably because Mirage Studios was directly involved in helping create it. It's still a children's show. It's still a vehicle for toys at the end of the day. Much to your chagrin, Casey Jones will show up, as you saw in the theme song.
I don't hate Casey Jones.
It's also April is a lab assistant, if I recall correctly, which is pretty cool. Like, it's different, like more, it's closer to the comics. So I enjoy that. But if you are, I don't know, 8 to 10 years younger than us, you'd probably prefer the 2012 series, right? Which I really like the 2012 series. I've seen the first couple of seasons of it. And if you're 7, you probably like Rise of the TMNT. Maybe. I really don't know. So I'm not going to say one's better than the other, although I will say that maybe Rise is the least good. is how I'll nicely put it. It's a little weird. It after watching the first 3, you kind of got and they were presented in different ways and at different stages, but the turtles are the turtles, right? And they have this kind of dynamic, and this person does this and that person does that, and Rise turns it all on its head. And I don't know if they were successful in that or not. Rise definitely feels the most like the 1987 show, where we just kind of show up and the turtles are there and they're established and they go do whatever. They already know April, which I think is the only one where they've known April. She's fine. She's strangely more competent than them at times for comedic value. I kept remembering while I was watching that episode, which I finished minutes before we started recording. I kept recalling when we watched Rise of the TMNT, the movie, you called it an anime. Like you said, this is the most like an anime Ninja Turtles has ever been. And after watching that first episode, I have to agree with you. Yeah, it's 100% just anime. I say just, it is an anime. And I don't know if it's for me. Out of all of these, I think it's the one where I'm like, okay. I don't think I need to watch another episode. It's fine.
Like, you know? I think that it's the benefits of doing animation compared to live action, which I'm not going to say that it's cheaper or I'm not going to say that it's less expensive one way or another, because, you know, it's resource intensive, labor intensive, and I'm sure it's expensive, but like the things that you can do in animation that you can't really do in live action are astounding. Like just trying to do a live action Donatello rocket bow staff thing. I think like the logistics of it would be impossible. So you would just CGI it and that would be okay. But then you have then you have situations like some of the older Marvel movies where it's like, I can really tell that that's
you want to get a better example. Star Wars Episode 2 or 3, where I think it's Episode 2, and it might be better now on like the Blu-rays or whatever. But the DVDs made the clone troopers look like cartoons. Like they were not good. Jar Jar Binks holds up better than Episode 2 clone troopers. It's for sure very weird. Yeah,
just like simulations.
Just like the simulations. It's you're right. They can do a lot more, but the more I think about Rise of the TMNT, the more I feel like they had a pitch for a show, and then they were like, "Hey, we need to take one of these pitches that we've been given and slap Ninja Turtles on it because we're moving on from the old version." And they were like, "Well, this one's the closest. We can rework this to be Ninja Turtles instead of whatever it was originally gonna be." And then bam, Rise of the TMNT.
It's possible.
I mean, like that's what it feels like. The other ones, like I'm not saying that's what happened. Obviously, I don't know. It's just the villain, the whole mystical city underneath New York City, the over the top action, the media res was pretty like jump in was very well done, but it definitely feels like something that could have easily started as something else and then got shifted into, you know, Ninja Turtles land, the Turtleverse, as it were.
Well, it's like it's a market correction. Like in some way, I'm just not sure like if that was a proper market correction, like if that makes sense. Like it's so different. Like everything about it is different. Like not only the animation, the way the characters behave, how they interact with each other, the world itself. Like, but that being said, like, you know, like, let's talk about it we're going to talk about the 1990 movie, how quote unquote grounded it feels. Yeah. You know, but like, even in the craziness, because if I remember right, the 2003 show starts to get real, like, out of bounds. Like,
later seasons. Yeah.
Like, don't they go to international, like, or not international, don't they go to like intergalactic fighting tournament, right?
Interdimensional, eventually I think it's and then season 6 and 7 had a subtitle where they were like in the future or whatever, so they definitely, and they like had a slight redesign of the art, so they definitely tried something new and near like the end. But
is it the difference with a mystical city that it's actually underground of New York City, like is that more far-fetched than like Krang brains from the Utroms from Dimension X? Like, you know, like is it that much different? The only difference is instead of them like the Technodrome from the 1987 series, which is a giant testicle, with lasers on it.
Pretty much,
right?
yeah.
Like the only difference, like in how odd that is one is a piece of technology from another dimension, and this other guy, this goat horned General Drax, whatever his name is, I don't remember. It's something important.
Baron Draxum.
Yeah, whatever. Like, is there a real difference between it? Like I guess the major difference is the way it's presented. Like the characters are so over the top and outlandish that, like, I think that's the issue with me, is that it's hard for me to accept how crazy they are. Whereas, like, at this, like, if you get that original plot in the 2003 show with the same tone, same situation, maybe it comes off a little different. I don't know. So,
I guess I think where I would where I disagree a bit is it's not so much that it's less outlandish or more outlandish. It's that it's completely different.
Sure.
Than anything else they've done, right? The mysticism bit of it instead of the science fiction, like it's going straight fantasy as opposed to science fiction. Not that there wasn't any fantastical elements, obviously. Instead of alternate dimensions, which they briefly tease, it's just a mystical city underneath New York City. Who knows what all those people are? Are they aliens? Are they just here? Yeah. Who knows? Original characters for the bad guys, no like common through thread for like, oh, this is a new version of X. Nope. It's the same old thing. And I know that because we've watched the movie, I know eventually the Foot Clan shows up and eventually Shredder shows up. I don't know if that's a season 1 thing, a season 2 thing, or what. And I guess that's what I mean when I say that it feels like the Turtles got slapped into something else, because it's not necessarily a Ninja Turtles plot line, at least not the ones that I'm familiar with. And maybe there's some comics, line later on that goes into this type of thing and they're pulling from that, and I'm completely wrong. And I'm willing to be. But I also feel like they did the 2012 series from 2012 to 2017, canceled it, immediately started something else, and they just needed to be as different as possible. Yeah. And we got what we got. I don't know.
It's kind of like how in a crossover media reference, like in video games, when an intellectual property just gets absolutely rebooted, like. Well, what was that game that came out 2009, 10, 11? Syndicate? That first-person shooter?
Syndicate, yeah. Completely different than...
I really enjoyed the game.
Really good,
However, absolutely nothing like its predecessors, which were real-time strategy, squad-based RPGs.
They were CRPGs, yeah.
Yeah. Like Baldur's Gate, almost, in a way.
Yeah.
And then it's like, cool, we're going to make first-person shooter instead. Sure. It's like, well, okay, sure. Well, is that a situation where the company that was contracted, Starbreeze Studios, were like, we want to make a first-person shooter, and Electronic Arts was like, totes, but use this intellectual property because we got to use it, or the license is going to expire, and we don't want anyone else to make the game for it. So
maybe, I mean, it could be that. I mean, I could easily. I mean, because you bringing up Syndicate, you skipped Shadowrun, but that's okay. Yeah,
I did on purpose.
Yeah, it's. I think the difference is that it's still rooted in like that lore and whatnot. I assume, and I don't know the lore of Syndicate or Shadow. Like, I'm just making this up. I'm just saying like it's similar to that. I would say it's more like
Prey?
like maybe like Prey, or like just Call of Duty versus Call of Duty versus a different Call of Duty. It is what it is. I'm not here to bash on it. It's just different.
Sure.
Obviously, it didn't do well. It only lasted 2 years. They canceled it mid-season, canceled an extra season. It wasn't doing well. Maybe it wasn't selling toys. I don't know. The Turtles look weird, honestly. Like, the designs are a little like. I'm gonna Google Rise of the TMNT toys here.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah. Oh, Leo. Oh no.
Let's pull up some images. Let me share this. I mean, they just. All right, here we go. Here's the four dudes.
If I saw my future son playing with these, I'd throw.
It'd be really weird that you knew he was your future son.
I'd throw him away.
Yeah, it's just they look cheap. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's stylized, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like, but the color scheme, the paint. There's there's not really any detail. There's some detail, I guess, but there's no like. I don't know. They just look cheap.
Sure.
Let's compare. 2012. I'm probably not going to get any. No, this is just oh, here we go. That looks a little bit more like the traditional ones. I like the white eyes for when they're in the action. This looks good. Like these look like I like that they're different heights as well. That's pretty nifty.
All right, Mikey, ninja mode. Oh, you can still see us.
It's kind of like, let's see, 2003. Is this them? No.
I found an image. They're like in a layer. Looks like.
Is it this one?
No, but it's close enough. It's the same. It's the same place, not the same picture.
Are those are those them? Yeah. So those look more like traditional toys as well. And we know, I guess we can look. We'll pull up the original.
Well, the problem is like the
toys here,
87 toys didn't look like the 87 show,
No.
like at all.
Where did images go on my? There we go.
Let's
Yeah, this
skip
is
it.
mixing up a bunch of stuff. They just and of course, like they had all the different versions of them, like we talked about before, like the one that flips, the one that transforms.
Mhm.
Oh
They
yeah,
had
and they had these.
They got a cowboy.
Like they had these like these plastic things that would pop out all of the ninja weapons, then lose them all immediately to the next time you vacuum. Fantastic. Like it's just they're like in different costumes for no reason. It is what it is. I don't know.
Like
They just look different.
here's Leonardo dressed up like a Native American.
Oh, okay.
Raphael's he's got like the fringed leather coat with the raccoon skin hat. Donatello kind of looks like a dominatrix. And then
Good.
Michelangelo looks like a vaquero,
Oh, good.
like a Mexican cowboy. He's got a sombrero and the bandoliers or whatever they're called.
I will say, let's see. Let me put this to bed here. I'm going to let's do this.
Did you know that Usagi is Japanese for rabbit?
I did not know that. Okay, that we have it definitive here. The rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is the worst version of the cartoon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, simply because it is the only one in which Usagi Yojimbo does not make an appearance. Shows up here. It says, and I'm looking at usagiyojimbo.fandom.com /wiki/teenage_mutant_ninja_turtles.
Oh gosh.
He shows up in the 87 series, 2003 series, and multiple seasons. Very nice. And he looks like he shows up in the 2012 series. Let's see. Oh, he shows up in 3 different episodes. And then he has action figures. Let's take a click. Oh, look at that. I will say something I really enjoyed about the 2012 series is I love the theme song, like the theme music and everything that's playing. But I like how the logo looks the closest to the original comics.
Yeah.
Like there's like we look at the original comic logo, then we look at the 2012. It's very close, and they also end up at the very end of the theme song. They're all in the same stance and silhouette, like from issue number 1, which I thought was a really cool homage. But yeah, if there's no Usagi, is it really the Ninja Turtles? I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Don't know.
What's the one with the gold turtle robot?
Oh, he shows up. I know he shows up in the original and
Gold turtle. There's like one where there's like a robot that's made out of gold, and like the turtles can't fight him because he's gold or whatever.
this thing.
Maybe
This guy.
Yeah, I think it's that thing.
Well, he shows up. Well, he shows up in both. I'm trying to remember his name. What is his name? Metalhead.
Well, not Metalhead. Like this guy's like just a straight up gold robot. Maybe I'm just
Maybe you're mixing something up. I don't know.
Well, I was gonna say yeah. It's possible that like all those core memories have just merged.
Possibly.
So here's one that looks rad. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Michelangelo alloy action figure. It looks like a Gundam.
Send it to me.
It is $320.
Oh my god.
Oh goodness.
Oh my god.
It looks cool as hell though.
Oh wow. Look at this thing.
Yeah.
Holy heck. What is he doing?
Kicking ass.
He's not even taking names. He's just too busy kicking ass.
He looks like Heavy Arms from
Who manufactured this? Are there other ones? Have we scrolled?
some random post on this is so it's Mecha Angelo.
Mecha Angelo.
I
Oh,
found-
that's so good.
I found one of Donatello, Leonardo, and Donatello looks pretty cool. Head Boys X Snap Design.
Man.
Look that up. Head Boys X Snap Design. Oh, Raphael looks rad as hell. He's for his fists. He's got 2 more fists. Like he uses his fists to punch people with his fists. That's rad.
That's pretty cool. There's a lot of toys out there, man.
Yeah.
Of any design that you're looking for, really. Sweet turtle party wagon.
Yeah. I may just have to Go ahead.
How did you like? We didn't really watch enough to get an idea of it, but like April O'Neil is she's present in more than one of these, but she's very present in the original 1987 one, and of course Rise of the TMNT.
Mm-hmm.
But I think her character probably changes the most in each of these series. Like in the first one, she's a TV news reporter. In the second one, she's Baxter Stockman's she's like an aide or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's a scientist, and then she's a kid who is the kid of a scientist, and that's how they're kind of weaving that story. And then the last one, she's a kid and she's super over the top, just like the turtles are. Like it's very different. Like, did you have a favorite rendition or version of this character, or did you not see enough?
I mean, it's the 1987 version of April O'Neil is actually really annoying. Like, what is going on? Will somebody tell me what's going on? Seriously, somebody help me out. Shut up, April. You're a reporter. Get to the source yourself. Put it together, man.
Figure it out. Do your research.
I don't know if
maybe that is her research. Please, someone tell me.
Yeah. I interview people. I mean, like, I don't remember much of her from the 2003 episode.
Yeah,
I don't.
She doesn't show up in the first one.
Yeah,
she's not there at all. Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's the only first episode without an April O'Neil.
So yeah, that one, 2003, is my favorite rendition of her. So
because she's not there. Nice, very nice. Look, it's the Ninja Turtles as Power Rangers.
Hell yeah!
Look at this. That's awesome.
Is the Black Ranger in this also missing a finger on his right hand?
No, they only have 3 fingers. They really can't lose one. You know. Look, that's pretty cool.
They got opposable thumbs.
They do have opposable thumbs.
Yeah,
but like a pincher move is a bit weird.
The thing I remember about the gold robot is there's like a small scientist involved.
A Krang?
No, but like he ends up slicing through it because it's like gold is a really soft metal, so he like cuts it with a sword. I may just have to watch all the 1987
that sounds like
series in order for me to find out what it is, which I'm willing
not
to do
upset
that.
about it. I'm actually probably going to continue watching the 2003 series. I had the most fun watching it. I really enjoyed it. I need some, I'm not going to I'm not going to binge it all on a weekend or anything like that, but I'm going to have it on the background while I'm working or something.
All right.
I don't know. I really, really enjoyed it. Karai. I'm just going through these pages of Ninja Turtle toys. I will find all of the cool ones.
Well, you found them.
Yeah.
Because they're all the cool ones.
They're all pretty cool. All right, man. So I want to ask if you had a least favorite, but I think I know the answer to that. Did you have an idiot of the shows? And I'm talking like an idiot for take all 4 shows. All 4 episodes. I know you watched extra episodes. Try to keep it to the ones I watched. Who's the biggest idiot out of all of them?
I mean, I guess it's got to be the Shredder.
Okay. From 87?
No, just in all of them. But in all the ones that he appears, because if he never gets involved, right? And he just lets the turtles do their thing.
He just ignores them.
He just never swings on by. No, I 87 Shredder, because he's just a terrible villain. Like he's just like the epitome of what a 1980s cartoon character is. Like he's just over the top, obnoxious, and he never succeeds in any of his plans.
I mean, all of that CCTV, and like who sits at home in front of the television with their weapons in their hands trying to use a computer? How much more efficient would he be if he just took those blades off of his palms? Maybe he took the mask off, let it breathe a little bit. Like he's got to be irritated. Yeah, just all day.
Click, 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 click.
Just all the time. Yeah, he's trying to type in his keywords. Can't do it. I do love the giant computer that's just the keyboard is got no nomenclature, no labels. It's just giant squares and and they all light up. Like the 80s predicted RGB keyboards for sure.
It's like it's not that there's not a keyboard. Mm-hmm. It's that it's just a block of blocks or blocks of like keys.
It's a block of squares. Yeah.
Like I'm just going to type like this.
It'll work out. It'll all work out. I promise.
Or it's like they always press one button, like the enter key is like just there's always an execute, no matter what they do. Like, now I will unveil my plan to defeat the turtles. The turtles. Click.
Click.
Yeah. How about you?
You know
Did
what's
you find it yet?
100%. All 4 of the 1997 turtles for just being like, we don't need to do this right now. We're gonna go get pizza, even though we have no money. Oh, where did April go?
Yeah.
There's your powers of observation, guys. Come on.
It's like a ninja pizza shop. Guys, don't you think this is suspicious? Why?
Why? It's just a theme.
Yeah.
Or how about that investigator who was like, obviously ninjas involved. Well, how do you know? The rope says made in Japan.
I was gonna say, like, you texted me the other day about maybe some covert anti-Japanese racism.
Just a little bit of racism. I don't know if it's anti-Japanese,
like
but a little bit of racism. Yeah.
Like the voice actor for one of the ninja pizza chefs is like, oh.
Oh no.
So, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's it's definitely the episode title. Ninja Rope, made in Japan. Look at this cursed image I have up here right now.
Oh gosh. I can't tell who's who.
Yeah, okay.
I'd say they all look the same.
Yeah, all turtles look the same, huh? Look, guys, I really enjoyed this kind of like this walk through the cartoon versions of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's cool to look back at the cartoon that started it all for most people, I think, and go through the more recent stuff that ended it all for a lot of people. I think next we are going to be watching Turtles Forever. That is confirmed. And then we'll be doing a live show at the end of the month for just discussing the 1990 live action Ninja Turtles movie. Everyone's favorite, my favorite. I'm looking forward to rewatching it and maybe having a slice at the same time.
Yeah, I should do that. Yeah.
Yeah. If y'all have suggestions for other things we should watch after the 39.5-year anniversary of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you can let us know. scifiwiseguys at gmail.com. You can also hit us up on all the social medias that we decide to be on at Sci-Fi Wise Guys.
Stay healthy, stay hydrated, and avoid ninja pizza parlors.
Avoid ninja pizza parlors.
Because they'll give you something worse than a demand. The bill.
The bill. So stupid. I love it. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Eagle has landed.
When is that? Oh, is that from Ninja Turtles Forever?
No, this is from the 2012. Apparently, they have an episode where they go through
crossover.
They cross over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just they look fine 2D animated, but when you put these guys in 3D, they look cursed cell. Don't they?
I can't look away.
It's so bad. Their eyes, I need them to stop.
They follow me.
Ugh.
Leo's just watching me.